Hey everybody, it's Donna Freeman here, and I'm here with a request from one of our Patreon members, and her name is Bronwyn, and her request was, can I please have some stretches for my calves and my feet? And this is very similar to a class I recently did, and which she wasn't able to attend because of COVID, and she's at home and she can't do it live, so I figured I would do a video for you. So what you will need is a ball. We're going to do some rolling, and the type of ball you'll want, like a good old-fashioned tennis ball works great. Or even a lacrosse ball. They're pretty hard, but they're a good size. My favorite, if you can find them, are the solid rubber balls from the dollar store. Maybe it comes in this tricolor or a solid color, something like that. But that is my favorite because the tennis balls, because they're hollow inside, sometimes when you press on them enough, they crack. Okay? Whereas this one is not going to do that. So I'm going to use this one. And it has some give, whereas the lacrosse ball, very little give. Right. But you use whatever you might have at home, okay? So, come into your mat. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is kind of a test to see just where our mobility is and what's happening, okay? So we're gonna come into a gentle forward fold. All right, so standing tall, maybe your feet a little bit apart, okay? Inhale and reach up. Exhale and fold over. Okay, and just begin to notice. Notice how it feels, where the tension, where you're holding, where there's no space. Maybe bend and straighten your legs a few times. And just kind of explore. Remember, this is kind of your starting point of where you're at. You might be here, I don't know. It's your forward fold. Okay. And then we're going to come all the way up. Fabulous. So now, taking your ball, okay? You're going to start with one foot and take the ball under the foot, kind of underneath the big toe, right? So you kind of want to put it underneath the big toe as if the big toe was trying to push down or hold on to it, and then spread it out along your toes, okay? So we spread it out along our toes, kind of opening up the toes as if you were getting, you know, a pedicure and they're sticking that dividey thing between your toes. I don't know if there's a name for that dividey thing, but anyway, that's what you want to do. So now you'll start back at the big toe after you've gone back and forth a few times and go from the big toe, roll down in a line all the way to your heel and roll back. And however much pressure you want, like you might want to lean into that foot as you roll, and 2 or 3 times on that line, and then roll to the second toe and draw a line from the second toe toward the heel and back, okay? So we're following the bones of the foot, okay? And then the middle toe, and again, you decide how much pressure you would like to push down with. Onto the ball, and 2 or 3 times on that one and the middle one. Of course, you can hold on to a counter or a wall for balance. And then the 4th toe. Oh, yes. From toes to heel. And eventually, hang on, the 5th toe. And I sometimes find that my fingers help. They grip a little bit. See if you can relax that. Oh, big stretch from that baby toe. And all the way. Okay. And you'll want to do this on the other foot as well, but before you do that, just find a spot and lean into it. So find a spot and lean in. You might kind of get some grimaces on your face, especially if you find some really good spots. Oh, like right there. All right. Just lean in. And one thing that's really cool about this is you can put a ball underneath your desk and roll your feet while you're working as well. Like just take a little yoga break. You don't have to do this standing. You can do it seated. Okay. Standing, of course, you get more weight into the foot and find all the good stuff. And of course, where you're doing some acupressure, right? Working all through the internal organs and all kinds of good stuff. And you can find acupressure, foot acupressure maps on, on the internet. Okay. So, and of course you'll want to do the other foot. I'm not going to do that right now because we're just going to get through this tutorial. And you know to do both sides. So you can pause and do the other side. Okay. So then coming down, okay, that's one great way to get into the feet. I invite you to flex and point a few times. And then take both feet in circles. And then the opposite direction, really working the shins, the calves. Okay. And then take them in opposite directions with those circles. And reverse that. And I like to do 5 to 10 circles. Okay. You can point one and flex the other. Alternate. Fabulous. Next, we're going to draw the alphabet with our big toes. And we want to do uppercase letters, so majuscule, right? So imagine that your big toes are paintbrushes and make an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Very nice. Take a little bit of a break. That is an awesome exercise to do, especially when you travel or have been sitting for any length of time. All right. So now we're going to get into rolling the calf. Okay? So taking your ball, and you'll want to roll down and just on the side of this bone in the front here. Okay? Some people find this really, really sensitive to go up and down just on the very side, and then go a little bit further on the outside. And you'll want to do the other side as well. So just come on to the, ooh, there it is. Found some good ones. On the inside of that bone, and move again further around the leg. Oh yes, got some really good stuff. And whenever you find like a place that you feel needs a little bit more attention, like right down here on the inside of my ankle, is rather tender, so I'm going to give it a little bit more attention. Just kind of up and down, round and round. Okay. Fabulous. And then you're going to take your ball and put it underneath the calf. Okay? Fantastic. And then take your leg and rock and roll it over the ball. Sometimes you can move from the hip a little bit. Sometimes it's just a rotation. Maybe it's a rotation and a move. There, we found a good place. I'm just going to hang out in that, that good place for a little while. See if it'll ease a little bit. Turning the toes out. Turning the toes in. If you want more, I like to lift a foot so I have something that's steady, and then lift my hips, and that might allow me to come forward and back. You want to avoid right underneath the knee. You want to get into the belly of the muscle, and once again, toes out, moving around, toes in. Maybe you lift your hips up a little bit. You can always use some blocks or something like that to make that a little bit more available. And then you'll work your waist gently down your calf. So the calf muscles go lengthways, right? They attach down at the ankle and come up around the knee, right? And so they're long muscles. And so what we're doing is we're going, as we go back and forth with the hips down, we're going across the muscle, okay? And then when we lift up, take the hips forward and back, we're going in line with the muscle. And both are really great, found some good ones, really great massage techniques, okay? Gently, you'll notice I'm slowly moving back because I want to work my way down my calf. And I thought it was tender up here, and now as I'm getting down to the bottom, it's lots more tender. So everybody's body is different. Eventually, you will get, oh, there it is. Yeah, it's same kind of place. For me, it's that inside of the, and above the ankle. That's a really lovely place that needs a little bit of an extra attention. It has my attention when I roll on it. All right. So, of course, once you're done on one leg, you will do the other leg, right? So you'll do one foot, the other foot, some ankle mobility activities, get that blood flowing and moving, and then get into rolling the calves. Once both calves are done, okay, then you're going to come back to your test, right? That forward fold from the beginning, okay? Stand nice and tall, big breath. Maybe you reach up and exhale and fold. And as you fold, just notice. Notice if there's a little bit more spaciousness in that. Oh yes. My legs feel much straighter. I don't know if they look straighter, but they feel straighter. They feel more spacious. A little bit easier for me to get down to the ground here. So there you have it. The magic of how to roll your feet and your calves in order to increase mobility and flexibility and blood flow and all those kind of things. So I hope you enjoyed our tutorial, and thanks Bronwyn for the request. Okay, so if you have any requests on specific body parts that you would like to learn how to work with, whether it's rolling, whether it's stretching or strengthening, be sure to add those in our monthly requests. All right, thanks for watching guys. Have a great day. Namaste.